Test. Hi, welcome to another episode of Barbell Junction. I'm your host Azmir, and this is actually the first show for 2020.
All right, nice.
Yeah. So, Happy New Year. Anyway, if you're new here, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the notification button. And if somehow you don't have access to YouTube, you can also listen to us on Spotify.
You're listening to Barbell Junction, Malaysia's first strength and fitness podcast, brought to you by Zealfit Malaysia, the distributor of Eleco strength equipment.
I actually forgot to introduce you guys.
That's fine.
So with me today is Sam and Daniel, brothers, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, from X45.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So
This wasn't planned, just for the record.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Was
wasn't
this
planned.
Pandora's box?
Yeah, but it wasn't planned. Like we didn't let's wear the same shirt. No, it just
Yeah.
happened.
It happens a lot though.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah, so many
brothers. Yeah. So how are you guys?
Good. I mean, this is our first podcast, so
Yeah.
very exciting. And it's good to catch up with you, obviously, after 4 years, right?
4 years. Yes.
Yeah, great to see your gym.
Yeah.
Got a great space.
Actually, for all of you listeners out there, I think you actually gave us one of our first break, if I want to say that.
Really?
Yeah. Remember when I came to KK?
Yeah.
At that time, I just started. I guess you organized your X45 in August usually, right?
August.
Yes.
August, right? So we just started and we had a bunch of accessories from Eleco, and you gave us a booth in that event, and most of the guys are on the floor.
Yeah.
You put me next to the I think next to Reebok, and also the place where people can see their scores and things like that.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of traffic, and until now I'm so grateful for that.
Man,
Thank you so much,
bro.
but yeah, so that's a bit of history between us, and of course I always appreciate anyone that has helped us along the way.
No, man. I mean, likewise as well. Like, I mean, just having you guys come over and be at the event, that was big for us. You know. That was in 2015. 2015. So that was year 2 for us. And really, year 1 was in 2014 was it was crazy because
It was
we
just
had
an
no
experiment.
idea. We had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
You're talking about the event itself, right?
Yeah, and because we had been to CrossFit competitions before, like the Manila Throwdown, they were running for quite. I think they were running for the few years before we started, and then but in Malaysia. There was
none.
there was no comps in Malaysia.
Yeah. You guys were the first.
I think
first few?
I think so. I think we were the first. And then of course in KK we're definitely, like in Sabah we're definitely the first. You know.
Yeah.
But for us we kind of had to package it into like a bigger event, and that's where the thought of a festival came about. Because we felt like just running it as a standalone CrossFit competition might not have enough traction, you know.
Right.
Like you need to get attention, right? If not, how to get support, and we were trying to get, you know, we were trying to get government support at the time because we needed a venue and stuff like that. And so that's how it came about that we saw the event as a way to provide a platform for different aspects of the fitness industry, you know. And back then I was still involved in like mainstream fitness, so we did a bit of group fitness, with like, you know, group exercise and stuff like that. And so it was interesting seeing how it would work out. And it's very experimental. Actually, a lot of things that we do turns out is very experimental.
Right. And I was always curious about how you organize events, and I think I don't know whether you guys know or follow us on the Instagram, but we are supporting one of the powerlifting events here in KL, and it's not cheap to run.
It's not.
And I assume that a sports festival is like in magnitudes of, you know, how did you guys pull it off?
I think it's funny because that's what I was talking about with some people yesterday, some people that we're talking to that might be interested in getting involved in next year. And I told them, I said, we know how to run things like on the cheap because we had to. We had no choice.
Yeah, our team is essentially 2 of us, Amy and Cheyenne. That's it.
Yeah, our partners,
like our team is 4 to run the entire thing,
Wow.
and we don't take any money from it, like at all for all these years.
Really?
Yeah, we don't get
No,
paid.
seriously, bro. Come on.
No, really.
Not even a single
We
cent?
don't bill our hours. You know, I mean,
We don't-
obviously, it's under our company.
But obviously, anything that we make goes to the gym.
Right.
But we personally don't
Okay.
take a single cent.
Okay.
And we
And-
start planning it.
10 to 12 months.
Yeah.
Oh.
Before.
Yeah.
So by the end of one,
Oh, yeah.
and you started
Yeah.
planning for the next
Yeah.
one.
So usually in August, by October, November,
yeah.
we would already be setting dates and planning timelines for the following
Yeah.
year. Obviously, the first 2 years we started really early, but then once year 3, 4, we
So you got
Kinda
got
know
things
what's
kind of
going on.
stabilize. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't need to, but we still start planning very, very early.
What's the biggest challenge of organizing such a big event?
You already mentioned it, budgeting.
Well, how do you get around that?
Knowing where you can afford to spend.
Yeah.
And knowing what you can afford to spend on in order to make full use of your budget, and knowing what areas you need to save on while still preserving the experience and the quality.
I think the last 2 years, like Amy and us, we kind of figured out what areas we can really cut out, and that will save money and will not affect the competition experience.
Right? Can you share what the
So that was things like
Road buntings.
like buntings, like
Okay.
publication stuff, mostly on that side, because that's Amy's side. For us, we looked at the platforms. We looked at, because we had to build platforms, right? Because in KK we have it in a multi-purpose hall, and the flooring, obviously we cannot dump bars
It's a
on the floor.
badminton court flooring. It's a
Right.
timber
Yeah,
flooring.
so we have to buy plywood, and we had to make platforms. So we would keep the plywood from the previous year.
Right.
Like we will store it in a space for 1 entire year,
Yeah.
just so that we don't have to buy more plywood.
Yeah,
Just to
so-
save that few thousand.
Same thing. Yeah. I think for powerlifting it's even worse.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So and then obviously the only reason obviously we can do it is because we have great partners as well. So
Great
like we get
sponsors.
Savage Gears in, we get
Reebok
we
support,
get Sukan to sponsor the venue and all these things. Because without all this, like without equipment, there's no way we can supply equipment to the event. Yeah. So
Venue is extremely important.
yeah, as
Like,
well as the venue. Yeah.
If the Ministry of Youth and Sports Sabah had not given us support with the venue from day one, there is no way we can
Yeah,
afford it.
because that's the
No way.
biggest chunk of the budget, right?
Yeah, because this venue, if we had to pay, would be all in.
50,
Last I
40,
know, like 20-30K.
Yeah, about right. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's huge.
and they're not charging me a lot. It's like, but because it's a big venue and then aircon you gotta pay,
Yeah.
cleaning, and once you put everything together, it'll be close to 30K.
You're not just talking about the indoor stadium where the CrossFit thing happens, but you're also talking about the other.
That's just for
things-
the indoor stadium.
But that's just for the indoor stadium. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, but you actually got the whole facility of the surrounding area, right? Because I saw like
Yeah, we do use some of the other rooms as well.
Yeah.
But we're very grateful because the ministry, they've always been very understanding, and I'm sure that I annoy them sometimes, you know. But they're very supportive, and I believe, and I have to thank the late YB Taufik, because fortunately he's passed away. But during that time, the first 2 years, it was his support that made it possible. Like if we went in and we spoke to them, and if they were not supportive, then we wouldn't be here.
right.
Like none of it would have happened because it would not have been viable.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many spots were there in X45?
So Sabah Fitness Festival, we focus primarily on CrossFit and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And the reason for that is because a lot of these are sports that are very community based.
Yep.
These are sports that are not generally played or competed in the mainstream competition circuits and stuff like that. You know, like you talk football, badminton, there's so many events for them, futsal, basketball, right? But with CrossFit, it's very limited.
Yeah.
And it's even less now. You know, I mean, you can see like you know, there's even less competitions now. There are a few like big ones around the region, but there's not that many. So there's not that many opportunities to compete. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. I mean, SEA Games just had it, right? For like the first time ever. And
Oh,
Malaysia,
really?
Malaysia sent a team.
SEA Games, yeah.
And yeah, we got some medals. So that was
that's
amazing.
cool.
Yeah. So, but before this, to compete, you would have to pick like from a very limited number of competitions around the region.
But then again, SEA Games has breakdancing.
Yeah, this SEA Games
Does
has
it?
the esports.
Breakdancing.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Malaysia got gold, right? Did we get?
I'm not too sure whether we should be proud of that.
No, it's great. I think it's great.
No, breakdancing.
Breakdancing as a sport.
I think it's great.
Well, they have esports as
It's
well.
hard.
Don't get me started on sports.
I mean, we got a gold medal for Hearthstone, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So the guy had a
Did you see
PhD in chemical
I
engineering.
mean,
or something.
the word sports behind E after E it throws me off. You know.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't go. Maybe we shouldn't go there.
No, but can you?
I know, but like breakdancing, do we have, what else do they
Obstacle
have?
course racing.
They had obstacle course racing.
Okay, like that one is okay. Sports.
All right,
lah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
physical.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had ice hockey.
Yeah, that's my question though.
They had
Why
ice
do they
hockey.
have ice hockey?
They have ice hockey
I
in
was
South,
surprised.
SEA
Southeast
Games.
Asia.
Yeah, I asked him. I was like, you have ice hockey. How?
How? Sunway Pyramid.
Yeah, like exactly. I said, are you gonna go into the middle of Sunway Pyramid, just block everything? We're gonna train now, you know.
But I have seen people training there.
Really?
I just didn't know that there's actually a sports club that's representing Malaysia.
That would be the only place to train, right?
I don't know. There are a few ice skating
I'm
rings
not
in
very
KL.
familiar. Okay.
But I've seen in Sunway Pyramid once.
They're actually training.
Yeah.
Wow.
But hey, you know what? The SEA Games, like the fact that they're including all these things, and like the fact that they're including Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it goes a long way, you know.
So apart from CrossFit and Jiu-Jitsu, what else? What other sports that you guys had on the?
We once had ultimate frisbee.
Did we? Yes, we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, like my good friend Dino back home, he runs the frisbee comps, and so that 1 year. So what we did was that over the first 3 years, we scaled the event up slowly. So like year 1, 2014, 2015 was bigger. 2016 was the biggest. We added like a lot of things. Like we added a frisbee comp, we added this, we added that.
Yoga,
and the whole
we had a
idea was
yoga
that
thing as well.
yeah, like we had yoga, we had a lot. We were even toying with the idea to host like a weightlifting meet or like a powerlifting meet, but we never, because to me, like if we were to do that, we have to make sure that the quality is there.
Right.
I don't want to do a Rojak event and then end up like it's like
Yeah.
this is average and that is average and nobody has a good time.
Yeah.
Like to me, the thing that we prioritize the most is competitor experience. That
Okay.
is number one.
And how so? Like what sort of experience do you
And
guys
we
want
know that
them to
we
have?
can't splurge, like because our event budget is so limited, we cannot splurge on making it super luxe for them. But for us, important things like communication, pre and like before the running up to the event, because I understand a lot of people are planning trips. So like being timely with our communication, making sure that when we release any information, and this goes down into event management as well, that you're talking about, like making sure that when we release information, we're not making changes along the way, because that's very disruptive for people. Making sure that we and meeting timelines and being timely, trying our best as much. I mean, things happen all the time, but try our best to respect the time of the participants, and then competition quality.
Right.
Making sure that from qualifiers all the way until the final weekend, we do everything that we can. And a lot of this is not about money, it's about how we run things, how we make decisions. A lot of it comes down to Daniel as well on the competition side. A lot of times I leave it to him because he's very clear on, how to make decisions. And there will always be decisions that you have to make because, you see, like when you think of powerlifting, it's very straightforward in the sense that the rule set is very clear. Like if you're an IPF comp, you're an IPF comp. You follow IPF rules. Weightlifting is IWF. They have a very set rule set.
Even Jiu-Jitsu has its own set
Jiu-Jitsu,
rule set.
if you tell everyone, okay, we're an IBJJF, following the IBJJF rule set and weight classes, everybody knows what that is because it's a global body. It's a well understood rule set, and so people are not going to be surprised.
There's no room for like subjective.
Interpretation.
Yeah,
Yes.
You're not going to be like, oh, is that submission legal or not legal? Like everybody knows what's legal and what's permissible, what's not permissible, right?
So you said this ahead of time.
But with CrossFit, there is no international rule set.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I
Isn't
struggle.
CrossFit is the.
I struggle with, and I hope people don't get me wrong and people don't like crucify me for this, but I struggle with seeing CrossFit as a sport. because to me, a sport needs to have a universal and well accepted, understood rule set. I mean, okay, when you play a game of football, everybody knows how long the game is supposed to be. Everybody knows how long the halftime break is. Right? Everybody knows that you don't get timeouts like basketball, right? Everybody knows how many subs you make, right? Everybody knows the offline rule. Everybody, like, the rule set is extremely clear. Regardless of where you're playing it, regardless of what level you're playing at, football is football.
Right.
It doesn't change. Right? You can't use your hands all of a sudden to score a goal.
Yeah.
Right? And you can't say that, oh, but
Tell
this
that to Maradona.
I mean, some people do it, they get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, right? But, you know, it's a very clear rule set. And I, you know, and Matt and I, Matt, we have talked about this, and he was telling me that there is a direction for functional train. We could probably call it functional athletics, I guess.
Okay.
To have an established rule set, have like a proper setup and proper competitions internationally.
Like, for example?
Well, this is Matt was talking to me about it. I haven't looked into it in detail. But if you look at CrossFit, well, not CrossFit. CrossFit. No, I mean, CrossFit is a brand.
Right.
Right. We can all acknowledge CrossFit is a brand. And, you know, we used to be an affiliate and we paid for affiliation. But as a sport, I think CrossFit is still on its way there. And I think certain things need to happen before functional fitness, in a sense, high intensity, what we call, because we can't use the word CrossFit, obviously, when we brand an event, you know. So we say that it's a high intensity fitness competition. So for us, we need to be very clear with ourselves about how we run it, where the tiebreakers are, and how the competition format is run, because there is no playbook for this.
Right. So are you saying that you guys and also the boys at D13 are coming up with certain...
No, these are what
sets?
other people are doing.
Okay.
This is done internationally.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, I was just being told that this is happening.
They're trying to work out something.
Yeah, that
basically.
they are working on it.
Because every competition essentially will have their own like movement standards, points of performance. I mean, we take something as simple as a burpee, right? Everyone in the industry will know what a burpee is. But there are at least 3 different types of points of performance that vary on different competitions.
Okay.
So just because you went to the games or any other CrossFit competition or functional fitness competition, it doesn't mean that that same movement standard would apply across all other competitions, because they're all different.
How so? I don't understand.
Okay,
A burpee can be judged differently.
So in
how?
In functional okay, so let me explain to you. So in functional fitness, we have points of performance. If not, like, we can't count a rep as a rep. And something as simple as a burpee. So the general standard is so these are like competition hacks, so to speak. When we do programming, for example, for me, I would never program burpees alone. I would either do a burpee over something, burpee over a bar, burpee over a box. Some competitions do burpee to a target, because if you just put a burpee, there is no way to judge on the jump, because people might jump like bent over. If you want them to jump straight up, that's not going to happen, because in competition, what if they're like slanted slightly? So these are all little the decisions that I make usually, because I am the one that programs all the workouts, I'm the ones that decide on the rules. I decide not based on what the games is doing or what this person did it. I do it based on what is easier for my judges to do, because another big challenge in like running these things is the volunteers and the judges, because this is run based on a volunteerism kind of spirit, and because we are in KK, we do get a lot of volunteers that actually fly in. And can you imagine, like, you already volunteer, right, and you fly in, then you kind of school again by like people. So it's quite the experience. I'm always trying to make their experience as easy and as pleasant as possible, because I was in that position as well, because I went to the Philippines to judge and they made it great. You know,
Rodan does a great job.
And I've judged in. Basically, when I got into CrossFit, so to speak, I already knew I wanted to judge. Like, I rather judge than compete. Right? Competing is too painful.
Yeah, that's why I sell stuff.
Exactly. So the burpee, so usually the point, so say burpee over a bar, right? Some people would say you have to jump with 2 feet. Some people would say you just have to jump, you just cannot step over. Some people will say if you jump and you hit your foot on the bar on the way over, you have to redo the jump. Some people, so these are all, and there's no set standard, because even CrossFit changes from year to year. They release their handbook and you go, okay, this year we're doing this way, and this year we're doing this way.
But just imagine with a regular burpee. Technically speaking, well, if you're like if you want to be like the purest burpee doer in the world, like when you do the jump,
you should be
you need
standing up
like
straight.
what, full triple extension.
Yes.
Your hands have to be touching
Up.
overhead.
Yeah.
Your hips have to be fully open. You have to be like fully vertical. But in a comp,
then no one's gonna do that, bro.
Yeah.
And you can't enforce it, because if you make it hard for judges, they won't be able to do it.
Right.
So for me,
and they have to make the decision right there.
Yeah.
So judging is actually extremely hard.
Yeah.
And every competition will have judging errors. It is bound to happen. But I try and put the rules as easy as possible. So I will say you just have to look at point A and point B. Anything else, if they want to do it, just let them do it. So some of the controversial movements I allow, because to me it doesn't give an advantage for the athlete. For example, a thruster is supposed to be a squat to a press in one movement, and
Right.
you can't jerk it, right? You can't bend your knees. But if I put that rule in, which is actually the standard, is actually a thruster is like that. That is actually quite universal. But for me, I don't actually put in the points of performance that you cannot bend your knees, because there's another thing for my judge to look at.
Yeah, because there's too many things.
There's too many things.
Doesn't
and
give
you have to
advantage.
count, and it doesn't give advantage. So that's the thing. Some people will say, yeah, but then if they do that, then they can do heavier.
Conserve
Yes,
energy, yeah.
you can do a heavier rep if you bend your knees. But in the end, you still have to lock out your knees, but
It takes more time though.
it doesn't make it faster. And so like what Sam said about competition experience, for example, we have an athlete that is not so strong, right? And he finds difficulty doing thrusters at that weight. But because I allow him to do a jerk, he would still be able to progress in the workout instead of being stuck there.
Right.
And yet he wouldn't. So say for example, I'm the weak one and Sam's the strong one. It's not going to change anything. The fact that I can jerk it, I would still be much slower than he would
Because
be.
it takes an extra-
It's harder. You have to move more.
Yeah.
But I can still do it, so I don't feel. See, one of the worst experiences in competition is when an athlete is on the floor and they're stuck.
For like 5 minutes.
And if they're stuck halfway or even the early part of the workout, that is the worst feeling.
For him.
For the athlete. Because can you imagine, like, everyone is looking
Yeah.
and you're just there,
Right.
stuck.
It's
trying and trying
hopelessness.
and trying.
Yeah, I know, but
It's
then
that
again, isn't this where the community comes in? Like, oh, they cheer you up.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, sometimes no, really
But we need to be aware of that. We need to know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes people's cheering actually works.
Last
But-
year, a few people got muscle ups
For their
the
first time.
during comp.
Wow.
And
For
they
the
got
very
like 9
first time,
reps, some-
and they hit out like multiple reps. So yes, that is very much a part of how we plan things. But where that happens and how
Correct.
it happens needs to be controlled.
Yeah. So for example, if we're
so
talking
we need to know the
Yeah.
level, right?
If you're talking about advanced movements, I will never program it in the beginning
Okay, beginning meaning
of the workout.
Yeah, okay.
So that's my style, and these are like trade secrets or whatever you want to call it lah. So for example, we're talking about gymnastic movements. You have pull-ups, then you have in order of difficulty, you have chest to bar pull-ups, then
Or
you have
jump.
muscle-ups, right? And you can program a workout, say 21-59, like the simplest one, like 21 deadlifts, 21 bar muscle-ups, 15 deadlifts, 15 chest to bar pull-ups, 15 deadlifts, and 9 deadlifts and 9
Right.
pull-ups. You can do it that way. Or you can do it the other way. Instead of doing bar muscle-ups first, you can put pull-ups first. And people might say, oh, but then, maybe I won't get to do my bar muscle-up. But would it change? If you look at the standings, if your athlete gymnastics is good, say my gymnastics is good, I can do muscle-ups easily. And his gymnastics is not good, he can't do muscle-ups easily, or it's almost impossible for him. Then whether I put it in the front or the back,
Doesn't matter.
it won't change the
It won't change
standings
the result.
very much. It might change for some athletes that are very close, but in the grand scheme of things, it won't really change the end result of who finally wins
changes
the
the
competition.
experience though.
But it changes how it feels
How
because
it feels, yeah.
if you put an advanced movement as the first one, first of all, because we released the workouts much earlier, and that's also another way to make the experience nicer. We released the workouts about a month or at least 2 weeks before.
Right.
And there are two feelings. Because I know a lot of athletes, they go to a lot of different competitions, and you're like, oh my god, this workout, the first movement is XYZ, right? And they're like, I cannot even do it. So they already have that sinking feeling that the first movement is like legless rope climb, and then I can't do it. So no need to do lah.
Yeah. So they give up.
So why compete?
The feeling is very not nice lah. I mean, we talk about, I don't know if we talk about the games right this year when they did it a bit differently, where every country had the fittest two to go, and their first workout was a run, and there was X amount of legless rope climbs and then a snatch. A lot of athletes in like over the world couldn't do the legless rope climb because it was so high. It was extremely high. And can you imagine you go all the way to the States?
Yeah, and then you fall in the first hurdle.
And then they cut off like half in the first workout.
Yeah.
And like,
and then you go home.
And it's not based, exactly. And it's not based on something that is doable. It's based on a very high legless rope climb, which is an extremely advanced movement.
Right.
They could have easily made it a normal rope climb. Like what? The competition experience would have so much better, but would it really change the standings?
I think they just want money.
Maybe.
Huh?
Maybe because it was really expensive.
Yeah, I thought this was the first year where they cut people out, right? In the first event or something like that.
First event, yes, but they always do cutoffs, but like a few days into it, and then they cut half. But because they did it in the format, like you said, maybe for money, they have so much more athletes this time because every country sends instead of like regional,
there are hundreds, right?
They have so many. And we knew, we were like...
But it wasn't a surprise though.
For us, it wasn't.
It wasn't even a surprise because having planned comms and having...
We know the timeline. We were like...
It had to happen, bro. That was the only way they were going to run the games the way that they did. So, I mean, to say that, there's no such thing as a right and wrong because there's no fixed rule set.
Right.
Again, going back to CrossFit as a sport, there is no set rule set.
That's why.
You can't say that, you did it that way, so that was wrong. No, of course not. Why? It's not wrong because there is no rules.
Because it's open to interpretation.
Yeah. Because it's whoever organizes a comp
has the right to decide
how the comp is run. If they want to say that a burpee looks like this for this competition, they can be right. If they want to say that a snatch or a power clean looks like this, that a deadlift looks like this. And so it's funny because if you talking about the big major comps and people, some people on the internet, they're always like, oh, look at the form that they do, how can they allow movement like this? But you know what? That's the comp.
Yeah.
If they say that this movement to do it this way is permissible, it's their comp. You can't say that they're wrong. It might not be the way that you like to do it. It might not be the way that we feel that is healthy or good, but hey, it's their comp. They can do whatever they want because there is no rule set.
Okay, guys, we've already reached the halfway point.
Already?
Yeah.
What?
So
we haven't started talking about it.
Well,
we've already started talking.
Coming up next.
So I will be right back after this.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Barbell Junction with Sam and Daniel. Okay, so we spoke extensively about organizing event and things like that. So what is the future for you guys in terms of hosting any events? Right.
So for 2020, we'll be hosting Pandora's Box in Kuala Lumpur.
Yay!
So don't need to fly.
Not everybody, no need fly. Basically we've been running comms in KK for six years. And so I guess, to be honest, and I think a lot of people know this because we weren't shy about it. Last year was supposed to be the last year. I think we've all grown over the past 6 years. We've learned a lot. It's been a crazy ride. We've had a great time, and we've made. I think the thing I'm most grateful for is the amount of friends that we've made. Like the fact that we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
And like the friends that we have around the region. And I'm very grateful because we do have a regional audience. About 70-80% of our competitors that compete in the finals weekend every year are from outside of KK.
Okay.
So they're from West Malaysia, from Singapore, they're from Indonesia, Philippines, all around the region.
Okay, that's good.
Brunei, we've had people from Thailand. The last year that we ran individuals, because obviously individuals is more approachable. People don't have to make teams. We had people come down from Japan. We had people coming from Australia. We had a whole bunch of guys coming from Australia.
Yeah.
So I mean, having everyone in the same venue over 2 to 3 days, and this is one of the motivations and reasons why we do this, is because we believe in building connections, and not just for ourselves, but for the people that come in. They make friends,
Right.
You know, and they make friends, and then when you travel, you know, you visit your friend's box, you train together, you build lifelong friendships, and I have really, really good friends that I've met because we ran these events. And so, you know, like no matter what happens long term with what we do, that's something that I'll always be grateful for. And
What do you think is the pull factor for people from outside of Malaysia to come to your event?
So
it's fun.
That was
I hope it's fun.
People have to pay money to come.
The after party. No, so we had this discussion. We were like, what is our core value in our competition? Because there were at that time when we were having this discussion, there were many comps. Now there's much less.
When we started, maybe it was because we were the only comp.
Right.
But halfway into it, like I think 2016, 2017, there was a lot. In KL, there was a few, you know, in Singapore, in Philippines still going, Indonesia, you know, and so we were like, what makes them come? Because we want to figure out what we are good at and what we want to be and what we don't want to be, so that we can really streamline and go focus into what we're good at. Because there's no point to try to be good at everything.
And to be consistent also, so that people that come, they know why they come. Yeah. So we need to know.
So I think during that time was also the time where Asia Championships was happening.
Yeah.
Which was run by Michael Morgat.
And Melanie.
Yeah. So then we were like, okay, we are not trying to find the fittest, because that is the one. Like, if you want to find the fittest, that was the competition to go to.
Asia Champs. Yeah.
We also weren't the ones that were giving the best prizes, because we never give cash prizes.
Okay.
Right? Ours were just
no budget, bro.
Use like a Reebok voucher, standard issue voucher, which is great. We're great for that
You can
sponsorship.
get shoes, thank you, Reebok.
But no cash prize, right? And so we're like, okay, it's also not the prizes, because we know other competitions that give cash prize.
Big cash.
And so then we were like, why do people come, right? I mean, like, community, I mean, like, every competition has community, so you can't really say like that is our strength. And then we realized that and we started to ask around, and we realized that it's because people actually enjoyed the competition. They actually liked the workouts, they actually liked the way we ran things, they actually liked the experience of actually just the competition. So actually, after we figured that out, the next 3 years we never even announced our prizes.
Yeah, we never told
announced.
people like what they're gonna win.
Even like the last year
we didn't.
they only know when they go on podium. Got a voucher.
Well, that's very interesting, because I have always been of the opinion that
Yeah.
you need money to bring people in.
We started thinking that too.
Yes, and then we said we don't want to do that, because then
We can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
But after 6 years, I'm sure you've got some traction and some clout to demand some sponsorship from someone.
That's also another reason actually we're moving to KL.
I mean, we can try, but I think we all know that the fitness industry is still not a mainstream industry, and I think, and being in KK and being in Sabah, we are not a primary market.
Yeah. People are not willing to spend on KK, unfortunately.
But that's the thing, though.
I think they are, but perhaps not in the areas that we operate in, and perhaps we have not met the right people, we have not spoken to the right people, so it just never happened. Will it happen in the future? I also don't know. I'm not coming, we're not coming to KL thinking that everything is gonna be totally different. We're coming to KL, and I find the motivation behind why we do certain things is just to try it. Like when we first did Sabah Fitness Festival, it actually came out of just a silly conversation, just a silly idea. Oh, what if we, put together an event and get people from all different gyms to come in and just it literally a conversation like that.
Yeah.
Right. And then
it always is, right?
Yeah, it always is, right? It's like the simplest, and then 1 year later we're like hosting this thing and we're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like we have no idea what's going on, bro.
What do we get ourselves into, right?
You have to buy plywood.
Why? We have to go buy plywood. We have to make platforms.
How to make platforms?
How to build platforms, So literally that has been the story. Like if people want to know anything about Sabah Fitness Festival, it's literally us sitting down being like, what would happen if we did this?
Yeah.
And then bang, we do it, and then we're like, what's going on? And then we learn, right?
Right.
Pandora's box is the same. You see, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, we ran standard format CrossFit competition, where it's a rank-based system, right? I'm sure you have, most people are vaguely familiar. They rank you based on placing. So event one, every workout, if you place first place, your point is 1. Event 1, you place 10th place, your point is 10. After 5 events, generally is the format. After 5 events, whoever has the lowest points wins.
Right.
It's that is the one thing that's pretty standard. Some comps they'll cut off, some comps they, but generally that's how it works, right? Yeah. But we were like so bored after a few years of doing it. We were like, you know what, it felt like we were just doing the same thing.
Yeah, and he asked me, so it was 1 or 2 months after that year's X45 challenge, and we were going to plan whether we want to do next year. We've been saying this will be our last year for 3 years now. Let's just put it that way. And he went, oh God, are you over it? I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, like just running competition. And at that time there were so many, like Hopper was here, and we were like, and honestly, if we just stopped, it would be fine because the community still had things to go to.
There was Hopper, there was Juggernaut, there were
So and so we were like, are you over it? I said, I'm not over it. I'm just very bored. Because back then when competitions first started, I was very excited. We would travel to Philippines, go Bangkok, and all that. And and I'm not even an athlete. I just go there and support my athletes, right?
And we learn.
And I go there and like we cheer them on, and it's great. But then afterwards, just like, it's very boring. It's always the same. Like every competition is the same. I mean, your movements are different, whatever. You have new equipment, whatever. But there is no strategy, right? Like everyone just goes hard on every workout. Because there is no reason to,
and everybody knows roughly who's gonna win. But by the end of the first day, you kind of this is the podium. You know who's on podium already.
Because you kind of know who's the top 5 really
because
strong
you can
ones.
see.
So then I said,
it's predictable.
If you want to do next year, then I said, what if we change the whole thing,
everything?
Right? Like what if we change everything? We just threw the baby out and then we make a new one, right? And so I was like. So I said, let me think about it. I said, I have a small idea. I'm trying to see whether it can work. And so at that time, I think a few weeks, I was like a madman. I was like huge whiteboards in the gym. I was just like rubbing off all the workouts, and I was like drawing out diagrams and how the ladder system would work and everything. And actually, the origins of this idea was a combination of the World Cup. And
the Football World Cup.
Yeah, the Football World Cup. And TI, so Dota International.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know that world.
Yeah. Okay. So the World Cup.
I had no idea as well.
Yeah. So the World Cup is group stage, right? So
groups of 4.
Top 2 go forward. Top 2 get eliminated.
Right.
And they fight, and then they get to the end.
Then they do the ladder and the knockout stages, right?
But TI, which is the only reason why I don't even play Dota anymore. But that time I watched TI
because
because
a huge event.
The prize pool was like $18 million.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Right. So if something is worth that much, you better look at it, lah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let's look at this.
Now it's bigger, right? How much is it now?
I think it's 26 million. Some nonsense, lah.
This is the esports we're talking
it's
about.
Crazy, yeah. It's esports.
20 million.
So
US dollars.
Yeah, USD.
I mean the
prize pool.
The KBS budget for esports.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So
can they see my face?
This one need to edit, bro.
So so I was like, so we combine it and upper bracket, lower bracket. I mean, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details, but the first year I did it, we were like,
it actually
is it going to work?
Yeah, is it going to work?
And then when we were promoting the event to our regulars, and they're like, what format is this? So I kept doing short videos about how the drafting, because so the thing that
we do live drafting.
So what happens is like this: first day, group stage, for group random,
4 teams a group,
right? 4 teams a group, random draw.
Well, we seed the
top 6, yeah.
And then to balance out.
What happens is the top 3 workouts. So that the first day will be like standard format, 3 workouts released beforehand, and they'll do it lah. But you only compete
with the people in your group.
Okay.
Not against everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah. So after the first day, top 2 goes into the upper bracket, bottom 2 goes into the lower bracket. And instead of getting kicked out like the World Cup, at least you can still play lah. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah. And what happens is you actually go head to head, 1-on-1. So
team versus team.
And the reason we also did it team versus team, and a lot of people were asking why we didn't do individuals, and they're still asking us to do individuals, is number one, it's extremely brutal because of the nature of the event. Can you imagine like a normal CrossFit competition, a functional fitness competition, you have usually 5 workouts in one weekend. Ours, we have 7 workouts on the second day.
Oh, that's crazy.
For Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is that just for upper bracket?
No. That's for lower bracket. Maximum on the second day you do 7 workouts, and we have had teams in this the last year one that we did that actually went all the way. So they dropped to lower bracket on the first workout of the second day, and they went all the way to the final. So they actually did 10 events in one weekend. Yeah. So can you imagine doing that as one person? Like we've had feedback that this was one of the most brutal on their body because it's one-on-one. It's
head to head.
So it's like my team against your team, right? And I was thinking, how do we make it even more interesting? Just my team versus your team, then the workout becomes very important. What are the movements? Because CrossFit has so many different movements.
So much variety, right?
And
so what you might be strong at, I might.
Yeah, but how do we do it to make it not just blind luck?
Yeah.
Like, because a workout that I am good at, you might not be good at, or the other vice versa. But what movement comes out would determine who wins.
Would determine the result.
And
a lot of cases, especially in a head-to-head, you see.
Correct. And then, but how do we determine what movement? Because then, if I program everything, I can kind of like control. I can game it.
You can control the result.
Then I can be accused of you're trying to make your own box win and all that nonsense, right? So I said, let's do it like this. Your team, you pick one movement out of the 4 choices. My team, I pick one movement out of the 4 choices, and then we combine and do a workout. So so that's what we call live drafting. So even I don't know. Of course, I don't give you like 20 choices, right? Because we didn't reason, and we didn't weights, and we didn't reps. I give you the reps. So for example, you can be doing 10 deadlifts, or 15 wall balls, or 15 pull-ups, or a 10
but
calorie
the variety
roll.
is there. They are very different. Yeah.
You get to choose one from part A, and I'll get to choose one from part B, and then we'll combine it and we do a workout together. So in that sense, there's a lot of strategy.
The teams have a degree of control over what workout comes out. Yeah.
So you kind of have to find out what is your opponent's strengths. You have to watch them in the previous workout, maybe something that they didn't like, and then something that they were really good at. So if they're like great at gymnastics, or you see their body type, like, this guy's sure cardio strong, then you don't pick the cardio movement, that kind of thing. So we've had really nasty workouts programmed because they saw their opponent and they're like, we have no choice, we have to pick this one. And it was something like front squats, thrusters, and wall balls. Which is like, I looked at the draft and I'm like, why? It's nasty,
And we asked them why.
And they're like, we got no choice. Look at them. Like, we got no choice. Yeah. So they both died, both teams killed each other.
So and because it's team against team. See, normal comp, you compete against the entire pool, right? So you try and be consistent. So the key with a normal competition functional fitness competition format is that you try and stay consistent. You try not to have too bad a result. And as long as you are within, the top 5, your chances of winning are high. With this, it's knockout.
If you lose,
so it's down to that one workout and that one matchup. And in some cases, if you lose that one matchup due to bad luck, movement not in your favor,
you pick the wrong movement,
or you pick the wrong, or the opponent pick a movement that is like a breaker on your team, or you just sometimes some teams they suffer because of reps, like you get a bunch of no reps, like anything can happen in a competition, right? You're out.
And you can't.
Like, that's it.
Nothing you've done before that can save you.
Yeah, no matter how well you did in the previous workouts, if you hit a bad matchup, that could be the end of your comp. Yeah. But because we're running a upper bracket, lower bracket system, and most people are familiar with a standard knockout system. So upper bracket, lower bracket is what we call dual elimination. So it means that if you're in the upper bracket, you can afford to lose. Basically, you can afford to lose to get knocked out twice.
Right.
So if you lose in the upper bracket,
you drop
to the lower bracket. In the lower bracket, at every stage there are elimination rounds.
Every round there's elimination. Yeah.
Every round there is elimination rounds. Okay, so during each elimination round we eliminate a certain number of teams. So the elimination rounds are critical because you cannot afford to lose.
That's interesting.
But at the end, the finals is actually composed of two of the last 2 upper bracket teams that survive and the last 2 lower bracket teams that survive. and we have had lower bracket teams come and win first place.
Yeah.
Wow.
The first year we did it, there was so there's 7 rounds in the second day. We had a team that dropped on the third round to lower bracket.
They dropped to lower bracket from upper bracket.
So if you're in upper bracket, you actually do less workouts. So in a sense, you're fresher, right?
Yeah.
Lower bracket, you have to do extra 4.
But upper bracket,
or
your
3.
competition is more fierce because you're playing against stronger teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
pros and cons.
The lower bracket, they dropped at third round and they fought all the way. They were wrecked, man. Wesley Fung.
Yeah, shout out to Wesley from Fitness Academy Hong Kong. They won. First
He
year
finally
at
won,
Pandora
and I was like, I would not.
that was amazing.
Would not have picked their team to win, put it that way, based on paper. But they were smart. They were very smart.
I was about to say, because it seems to me that this format requires a bit of involvement and also a bit of thinking.
And so we
Strategy.
wanted, and the reason why we did this is because we wanted, first of all, an element of strategy to come in.
Yeah.
Not just like I'm the best athlete,
I'm
I'm
strong.
the best at everything, I'm strong, I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, not to say that guaranteed you're gonna win,
Yeah.
but you're gonna be up there.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? The chances of you winning are extremely high, the odds, right? In this competition, honestly, we cannot predict the winner.
Yeah, you take away the predictability.
Even I don't know.
Even like we look at the qualifiers, you know, you look at the standings qualifiers, and the end result is totally different because there's no way to predict.
Yeah.
And the element of strategy is extremely important, and the element of coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you look for in a sport? Every sport has great athletes and great coaches, right? And being, you know, having coached and having taken teams to competition before, and we've joked about this, I think, with Matt and ID before. Like when we go for comms, like when we go for comms support, we call ourselves glorified cheerleaders because our athletes, all the prep has already been done.
Yeah.
We just go there and we cheer for them.
Like, come on, guys, you can
do it. You can do it. But the element of coaching is not. I mean, there is a little bit, but it's not intense, right?
Yeah.
Whereas we wanted, and I know whether we've achieved this or not, I don't know. We've asked other coaches, but we wanted the coaches to play a more critical role. And so in Pandora's box, because you can pick movements, your coaches know, athletes, and coaches have the time during comp to study the other teams.
Yeah. We wanted that to be an element.
And this is advice to people who are coming next year as well. Like, get your coaches, like, if you're into it, like, get involved. Like, make it fun. So coaches can have a great experience also because you're like spotting the other team. You're looking, hey, that guy's super strong, but this movement might be slow.
Maybe his rep rotation is slow on a certain thing.
So you can pick up on particular details that can give your team an edge if you know the other athletes.
Yeah.
So it means that first day you should be watching. Qualifiers, you also should be watching.
First round, you have to watch because we have this thing called, we added this thing called banning, which is also from TI, where you actually get to block. So you say you have 4 movements to pick. I can use my ban like to block one of the movements.
Oh, okay.
So you block you from choosing that.
Yeah.
All right.
But the way I did it this year was you only have 1 chance to use it. But then you also have to think, if you're saving it for the next round, but you lose and you're out, then you should have used it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So it's a lot of strategy. Like, do you want to... So if, say, you have a movement that you're great at, but I don't want you to pick it, and I'm going to I'm going to use that, so you can't do that.
Yeah, some people, they're like crazy at muscle ups. They can cycle muscle ups, their speed and everything, and they would just kill like other teams. So if you block that, then they can't choose it.
They have to choose something
They
else.
have to choose something else.
So that's also other element of strategy that I put in.
So what's the reception on this kind of format? You said that it's only applicable applied this year, right?
Last year.
Last year. Actually, no, we did it 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
We did it in 2018 and 2019. So, well, the reception right before com is everybody is like,
nobody knows.
We have no idea what's going on, but I'm very grateful. Honestly, we're like super grateful for the community around the region trusting us and saying, you know what, we're just gonna go.
Yeah, like honestly, I talked to them. Do you understand what I said in the videos? Nope.
They have no idea.
So they just follow along.
I'm like, man, you get it, kinda, but not really. I'm like, but you guys send so many people. Yeah, lah, because you're doing it, ma.
Yeah, and so the trust, the trust is something that means a lot to us.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing that has actually kept us going is that like the people that have come before, they trust that we're gonna try our best to give them like, the best experience possible.
So the first year,
it was a bet. Like honestly, it was a dice roll.
I ran so many simulations. So I put the whole ladder out. This person lose, this person win, blah 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 to the end to make sure that it worked. I had to add wildcards in and all these other elements just to make it work. Because typical knockout format will be 16 or 32, but 16 was too small and 32 was too big. So I had to run 24. But 24 is a multiple of 6. So you can't. When you can't do half is 12. When you can't half is 6. then you can't cut to 3.
Right.
So I had to add in wildcards here, wildcard there, and it was like a whole drawing board, and it worked on paper after like months of. But I wouldn't know really it would really work until we do it.
Yep.
And so I was stressing out the second day because I'm like, what if they don't understand what drafting is? Because this is all new to them. They're like,
none of us have done it before. None of the athletes done it before.
And there is, and for me, when I was planning it, there was no reference either because no other comp. I tried to find it online for ladder matches of CrossFit, like nothing. No one has done this. So
no one has done knockouts
it was from
or live
scratch.
drafting.
Yeah, especially the live drafting one from scratch. So I put the whole spreadsheet. He put it to Google
So
Drive.
I use a spreadsheet to create all the tables.
Yeah, and then we were like, I'm just gonna pray it works. After the first day, I'm like, okay, now is the real thing. Because the first day is like standard.
First day is easy,
We've done
no
it so many
stress,
times.
standard
Second day, I
format.
was like stressing
And
out.
on the drafting side, you know, we need athletes to come and draft their workouts. We need verification. You know, we can't have a situation where an athlete goes up and the judge is like, okay, this is your workout, and then he's like, I didn't
pick that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, imagine that, and we have to run, right? We
Yeah.
don't get breaks. We got to run. We got to keep the comp moving. So we need to set up. So we set up systems.
Yeah.
And I think it's the one thing that people don't see, and because like we consider like our comps quite old school, you know, old school CrossFit comp, like everybody like throw down and stuff like that. But they don't see the behind. They don't see that we simulate. And you talk about, you know, we like talk about running events. We simulate everything down to the minute.
Yeah.
We know how much time we have for transition between each we know how much time we have transition between each category. We know how much time we have transition between each heat. And we do our best to stay within the time frame. And we push ourselves to do that. But we have to simulate every single thing. And so halfway like through the afternoon, I'll come to him and I'll say like, how are we on time? And he will know. He say, oh, we are like 8 to 9 minutes behind.
Yeah.
But we need to have a reference point. It's not to say that, wow, we are like robots and we can do everything on time all the time. Like, we're human, right? Things happen. Sometimes transitions might be slow. Sometimes some athletes might be having some trouble with like
Drafting.
Yeah, or like sometimes drafting their delays. But we had to actually set up a brand new system of our own.
Yeah.
And because this is a format that we created, it's never been done. We did it as something that was, you know, oh, that sounds fun. Let's try.
Right.
You know, and then we got to figure out how to do it, right?
Yeah.
And so like Daniel, his like the simulations, we had to simulate a lot,
So,
many rounds.
Yeah. Another aspect is also equipments, right?
Equipments, yeah. Figure out what.
Can you
do.
imagine like equipments team? They don't know the workout either.
Yeah.
So you got to set up
For that matchup.
on the correct lane, and it's a lot of back end systems that we have to put in place.
4 different lanes could be 4 different workouts.
Yeah.
They need to know which workout, which matchup, which movement is on which lane.
And who is on which lane, etc.
So you're saying that the arrangement of the equipment has to be done during the
spot.
competition.
On the
so
spot.
that's
On
why
the
the
spot,
time.
Yes. So also, that also comes into programming. So so when I put a barbell movement in, say, the 4th round or whatever, I wouldn't put so many different weights of choices. Maybe I'll put it, all the movements are the same weight, but different reps. So the equipment team is like, okay, we load all the bars at 50 kilos. Can you imagine like, this matchup is 50 kilos, next match is 70, next match is 30. Then they have to like, so these are all little things that people don't see because they're like, oh, I wish there were heavier barbell thrusters. Like, but yeah, you do. But if you know all that other things in the behind the scenes, you understand that these are things. I would rather give you more reps and I would play with the rep scheme, but maintain the same weight, just so that
at the most
we can run on
I
time.
think we have like 2 different weights. At the most, we have 2 different weight options. So like, you can have a heavier thruster at lower reps, or a lighter thruster at more reps. But because we have multiple barbells at each station, we can set up the barbells ahead of time.
Yeah,
so it's knowing how to execute this. I think that comes down to experience, because we have run standard format comps before. So we know what to look out for. We know where things will go wrong. And I think we have to put in the homework. That's the most important thing.
It's also done because of mistakes we've had before. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. Like,
made mistakes.
that was a nightmare workout. Like that workout delayed us by an hour, just one workout because of the transition, because it was a nightmare. So
learning
certain things like that, because we made a mistake. And for me, like Sam said, we try, obviously we can't be perfect, but I really try maximum. My max limit of delay is 1 hour. Because I've been to competitions where it's really bad, like 3 or 4 hours, and that time we were delayed by I think 1 or 2 hours that 1 year, and I was beating myself up like that. And I was
I
just
apologize.
Like, and I was like, this is bad. I know that we are late. And then because I made a mistake in the formatting by 1 minute. Because can you imagine 1 minute delayed us by 2 hours by the end of the day?
Yeah.
So, so the next day, so that night, I actually re-looked at the whole timing, and I actually had to change some of the timings for the workouts for the second day just to stay on time, because I made that mistake when I was planning everything.
And never assume that things are gonna go well.
Yeah.
That's
So
the
like
thing
during the
events.
event, I don't eat.
Yeah.
I have no breaks. I run to the toilet to pee and come back, because I need to be there to make sure that things run.
Right. And you guys see we've gone like.
It's alright. We can cut off some parts later. Sorry, bro.
And you guys are bringing this to KL.
Yeah. So July 25th, 26th, we'll be hosting at District 13. We want to thank the Matt and ID there for. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be doing this in 2020.
2019 we said, all right, this time really will be our last one. Yeah. And then after party ID was there, he was like, really last one really
sounds like him.
Yeah.
Come to KL lah, come to KL. So here we are.
Yeah, we're doing it.
But so this year will be the absolute last for you guys.
Well, actually, you know what? Let's just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Let's just see how it goes.
Because if it's in KL, probably you get more people to be there.
Oh,
right?
we hope so. I mean, it's more accessible.
Yeah.
How many people join your events, your comp the last previous years?
Great. So qualifiers in general, we usually have about 300 plus.
What?
Online qualifiers.
Okay, they don't have to pay anything at this point in time, right?
Qualifiers, there's a small fee. It's not expensive.
Okay.
But so online qualifiers, we usually have between 250 to 300 plus. On site, we limit. So we have a max cap of 24 teams in open and 24 teams in scale. So the teams are comprised of 2 male, 1 female athlete. So 3 people per team. So in total, we have 144. That's max cap.
It's huge. And you fill out every single time?
More or less, yes.
More or less.
So usually we will fill out. And then, but sometimes, like
last
closer
minute
to the comp, some people, they pull out last minute or they cannot make it. So but most of the time, we are pretty much full. And we have to cap it because it's not about running the biggest comp. It's about running a comp that is enjoyable.
Yeah.
And we know that too many athletes will reduce the quality of the experience. It will make things messy. So we will stick to.
We want to keep it tight, lah.
You want to keep it tight. Yeah.
Would you be doing anything different in KL?
Not this time. No, not this time.
Competition format will be the same as the past 2 years. Partly because also I think a lot of people coming down is still going to be new for them. And so we want to make sure that we can run it well and have that consistency.
Yep.
And those that are coming back for the 3rd year, they have an idea of what's going on.
Because also like running in KL is very new for us.
Yeah, it's new for us.
We have to find new vendors. We have to find everything, right?
It's a different venue.
And obviously, having it in KL, we would imagine that there will be more spectators and everything, but we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We still don't know. We don't have a base to follow. So even when we talk to sponsors and everything, we can't really give them a number. We can't even say, "Oh, we have X amount last year," because we don't know. So we are extremely open with everyone we meet. We're like, all right, obviously we want you to come and get involved and be one of our partners, but we're not going to sit here and say and promise you this and that, because to us it's also a very exploratory year. If you want to just bring like a food truck there, that's fine. If you want to just get a booth, it's fine. But what we want is more that if you feel like this, you want to be involved in one way or another, then send your marketing people over and watch and feel the atmosphere. Because we can't describe it unless you are there.
Yeah. When you watch someone getting her first muscle up.
Yeah. And we can't also describe to see whether they want to get involved. They have to be there and watch it. So we say, come, be involved in whatever you want, but
feel it.
You come and see, and maybe the next round if we do one, if you want to.
I see.
Yeah.
So basically you because I do often wonder what sort of value do you give your sponsors. They give something in kind, let's say for t-shirts or whatever it is, right? But then again, what do you guys give back in return?
Yeah, and so over the years we have built very good relationships with a few brands, like Reebok and the boys from Lush Protein, Standard Issue gears, Savage gears with the covering equipment, and a few other brands, that maybe I'll miss out mentioning. But for us, it's very relationship based. And for us, it's very important that they believe in what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. and you know, and obviously they see some value with the market that we appeal to. And I think what makes us stand out from other comps is that we have a regional yeah, that's fine. We have a regional audience, and we have people that are willing to travel in and compete with us. And I think that means a lot to us, and the support from the community around the region. And I think that means something to our sponsors.
Also, the demographic. Most of the people that can afford to do it are like. At least middle upper income. Like CrossFit is expensive.
The market, the functional fitness market is the higher end of even of the fitness market, and fitness is already considered a luxury in our region. So we have a very focused demographic, and we just communicate that to them, and we are flexible. I think that's another thing. When we run events, we have to be flexible. You know, we prioritize certain things: athlete experience, safety. I mean, there's certain things that you have to be strict on. But with partners and people that you work with, you know, be flexible, build the relationship over time, build that trust, and be like do something that people can believe in, that people can get alongside you and work together, you know. And
you can't be a purist all the time.
Yeah, it's not just like, oh, this is my event, this is how I want to do it, you know, this is how I want to, you know, this is how our sponsors must be like this, like this, like this. No, I mean, we don't do that. Yeah, we talk. You know what? We ask them, what do you want out of this?
Right.
You know, what can we do for you? How can we grow together? And because for us, a lot of this is exploratory as well. We're doing it for passion, we're doing it for fun, we're doing it because it's interesting, we're doing it because we want to try something new. That has never changed, you know, and I don't think that's ever going to change. And that's what keeps us in, and the fulfillment we get from the network and from our friends, you know, the relationships that we build, and that ultimately is the most valuable thing for us. So a lot of it is relationship based.
Okay, it seems that the camera has gone up. Canon. I wish Canon can sponsor us. Get back
man.
The cameras, man. But anyways, guys, I think we've gone 1 hour already. So thanks a lot for coming all the way from Sabah.
No, pleasure, man. I mean, this is our first podcast.
We love to be here.
Thank you for coming.
It's a real honor.
Yeah.
It's really catching up with you again.
Yeah. And do you guys have any last words that you guys want to say to our listeners?
Well, I guess see you at
any plugins you want to make, you know.
See you at Pandora's Box. Registrations open in February.
Oh, so early, eh?
Yeah, I mean, start early, plan early. So registration open in February. So we hope that, you know, people will, you know, keep in touch with us. You know,
right. Is there a link that you know, I can share? Or?
Yeah, our website is X45challenge.com.
Okay.
And so all the information will be posted on there, and also our Facebook page and on our X45 Fitness Instagram. So everything that will be released on all three whenever we have updates on news. Yeah, I think that's, you know, train safe, have fun. That's what we always say. At the end of the day, just have a good time, man. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Just have a good time. Take care of your health. Those are the most important things, you know. Right.
Daniel, anything you want to add?
Nah, we're good.
All right, guys. Wow. It always annoys me when the camera goes out. It really annoys me. Anyway, thank you guys again for coming to
pleasure,
the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, my pleasure. And for all of you who, if you like this particular podcast, please click the like button. Do leave your comments, because we rarely get any comments from people. Sometimes I don't know whether people actually watch this.
No, we need to talk about more controversial stuff and then
I mean, I would love to do that, but that's
stir the poop.
Yeah, the problem with doing that is that I think we might get certain negative backlash.
Of course we would.
Yeah, it's not. Sometimes it's not. For me, it's not worth the controversy or the.
But I think there's something culturally that we could improve on. I think I
agree.
It's not in our culture, right, to talk about things that are not comfortable and be okay with it. But I think
it's about handling criticism, right?
Not so much that, but just being able to be, like, you don't need to be right about everything. And that's the one thing that we learn as well. Like, we know, like, we're not right about everything. We don't need to be right. It's okay not to be, and it's okay not to agree even. We can still be friends.
As a culture, we're not there.
But we are like, culturally,
if we don't agree, we cannot be friends.
It's like, you know, because we have difference in opinion, because we don't agree, cannot be friends. Like bro.
But it happens though.
It happens.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying that this is something that I believe that in general we can improve on. Like, you can not agree with someone about something, but you can still have friends. You can still be friends, man. Go mama, eat, you know, roti. Like, what's the big deal, right? You don't have to agree on everything.
100% I agree.
Yeah, but I think it's important to get used to talking about things that are not necessarily comfortable. But it's not easy lah.
It's not easy. I think you have to have the right people to talk about it, and not just some random guys who has an opinion, because everybody has an opinion.
Everyone has an opinion.
True.
Yeah. So, in any case, all right, that's all that we have for this week. Again, Happy New Year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, even though it's not New Year now.
Before we got on the philosophy route.
All right, guys. See you guys in the next episode. Ciao.
Bye.
Why am I looking at the camera? The camera is gone.
It's